The world of supercars has always been full of power, luxury, and extreme engineering. But recently, something very unusual has started to happen. A YouTuber named Mat Armstrong has slowly changed how people look at damaged supercars. What started as simple rebuild projects has now turned into a major conflict between independent builders and the biggest car manufacturers in the world. This situation reached a new level when Mat decided to take on one of the most complex cars ever built, the Bugatti Chiron. At first, it looked like just another ambitious rebuild project, but it quickly became something much bigger. It turned into a public debate about who really owns a car after buying it. Is it the owner, or does the manufacturer still control it? This question has divided the car community. Some people see Mat as a hero who is challenging unfair systems, while others believe he is going too far and misrepresenting highly complex machines. As the story continued, things became even more intense when Mat Armstrong, the CEO behind Bugatti, publicly responded. What followed was not just a disagreement, but one of the most talked about clashes in the automotive world. Now, many people are asking, has Mat Armstrong pushed too far, or has he exposed something that the industry never wanted people to see? To understand why the situation became so big, it is important to understand who Mat Armstrong really is and why millions of people follow his work. Unlike traditional mechanics, Mat does not focus on simple repairs. He specializes in rebuilding cars that most people believe are completely destroyed. These are not small accidents. These are vehicles that insurance companies have already written off as total losses. In many cases, even the manufacturers themselves say these cars cannot be repaired. But Mat sees things differently. Where others see the end, he sees an opportunity. Over the years, he has rebuilt some of the most advanced and expensive cars in the world. He has worked on cars like the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, and the Ferrari 812 Superfast. Each project has helped build his reputation as someone who can do what others cannot. His videos show every step of the process, including mistakes, challenges, and solutions. This transparency is one of the main reasons people trust him. For his fans, Mat is not just a content creator. He is proof that skill and determination can overcome even the most difficult problems. However, for manufacturers, this same work can be uncomfortable, especially when it challenges their claims about what is reparable and what is not. The situation changed completely when Mat decided to buy a crashed Bugatti Chiron. This was not just any car. It is one of the most advanced production cars ever created, with extremely complex systems and engineering. The Chiron is powered by a massive engine and includes advanced electronics that take years to develop. The car Mat bought had been in a serious accident, and the damage was severe. According to reports, the cost of repair through official channels would have been extremely high, making it impractical to fix. Because of this, the car was considered beyond saving. For most people, that would have been the end of the story. But Mat made the bold decision to rebuild it anyway. This decision immediately attracted attention. People were curious to see whether he could actually succeed. As the project began, millions of viewers followed every step. Each episode showed the challenges of working on such a complicated machine without full support from the manufacturer. This was not just a rebuild anymore. It had become a test of skill, patience, and determination. At the same time, it also started raising questions about why such repairs are so difficult outside official networks. As the rebuild progressed, things started to become more serious. One of the biggest challenges Mat faced was access to parts and technical information. Unlike normal cars, hypercars like the Bugatti Chiron often require manufacturer approval for parts and repairs. Mat claimed that getting support was extremely difficult, which forced him to find alternative solutions. He sourced parts from different places and sometimes had to reverse engineer systems to make them work. While his audience found this impressive, it also caught the attention of Bugatti itself. This is where the situation changed from a simple project into a public conflict. Mat Armstrong responded to some of the claims made in the videos. He questioned certain details about the rebuild and raised concerns about accuracy. Instead of handling the issue privately, the discussion became public, which made the situation much bigger. Now it was no longer just about fixing a car. It was about reputation, accuracy, and control. Both sides had strong supporters, and the debate quickly spread across social media, forums, and automotive communities as the conflict grew. people started discussing whether it could turn into a legal issue. This raised an important question. If someone legally buys a car, do they have the full right to repair and modify it however they want? On one side, supporters of Matt argued that ownership should include the freedom to fix and rebuild. On the other side, some experts point out that modern cars are very complex and include proprietary technology that manufacturers want to protect. If the situation went to court, it would not be simple. Proving false claims or damage to reputation would require strong evidence. At the same time, taking legal action could also create a negative image of the company, making it look like a large corporation is targeting an independent creator. This is why many believe that both sides prefer to keep the conflict public rather than legal. The situation highlights a larger issue that goes beyond one person or one company. It connects to the growing global discussion about the right to repair, which focuses on giving owners more control over the products they buy. Just when it seemed like the situation could not get more complicated, another major brand entered the picture, Ferrari. Matt faced challenges while working on a Ferrari 296 GTB, and the issues were very different but equally frustrating. Unlike the Bugatti project, this problem was not just about physical repairs. It involved software systems and electronic controls. The car showed errors that could not be fixed without official support. According to the situation, Ferrari required the car to be fully restored before they would assist, but restoring it completely required solving the very issues they refused to help with. This created a loop where progress became almost impossible. The car could not be completed without help, and help would not be given until it was completed. This situation made many people realize how much control manufacturers have over modern vehicles, especially those with advanced hybrid systems. It also strengthened the argument that this is not just about one builder, but about a larger shift in how cars are designed and controlled. The reaction from the automotive community has been strong and divided. Some people fully support Mat Armstrong and see him as someone who is challenging outdated systems. They believe that his work shows what is possible when skill and determination are applied. These supporters often connect his story to the larger right to repair movement, which is gaining attention worldwide. On the other hand, there are also many people who agree with concerns raised by manufacturers. They argue that rebuilding such complex cars requires extreme accuracy, and any incorrect information could mislead viewers. Engineers and experienced mechanics often emphasize that these cars are not just machines, but highly advanced systems that need proper handling. Both sides have valid points, which is why the debate is not settled. Online discussions continue to grow, with people sharing opinions, technical insights, and personal experiences. This has turned the situation into one of the most talked about topics in the car world, far beyond just YouTube content. In the end, this situation is about much more than one YouTuber or one car. It represents a major shift in how people think about ownership, control, and technology. As cars become more advanced, the balance between manufacturers and owners is changing. The story of Mat Armstrong and his projects highlights this shift in a very visible way. Whether he is seen as a hero or a risk-taker, one thing is clear. He has started an important conversation. The involvement of companies like Bugatti and Ferrari shows how serious the issue has become. Moving forward, this debate is likely to continue as more people question how much control manufacturers should have after cars sold. For now, the automotive world is watching closely, waiting to see what happens next. Will this lead to more freedom for car owners, or will manufacturers tighten control even further? The answer is still uncertain, but one thing is guaranteed. The impact of this conflict will be felt for a long time as the rebuild of the Bugatti Chiron continued. It became clear that this was not a normal project in any way. Every step required careful planning, patience, and problem-solving at a very high level. Unlike regular cars, the Chiron is built using extremely advanced materials like carbon fiber, and its structure is designed in a way that makes repairs very difficult. Even separating certain parts of the car is not something that can be done easily without special tools and official guidance. This is where the real challenge for Mat Armstrong began. Without direct support from the manufacturer, he had to rely on his own experience and the help of independent experts. In many cases, he had to study how the car was originally built and then figure out how to safely reverse that process. This is not just mechanical work. It requires a deep understanding of engineering. There were moments when progress slowed down because a single missing component or unclear system could stop everything. Despite this, the project moved forward step by step. Viewers could see how much effort goes into rebuilding such a machine, and it helped people understand why manufacturers are so careful about repairs. At the same time, it also showed that with enough dedication, even the most complex challenges can be approached outside official systems. One of the most interesting parts of this entire situation is the role of YouTube and how it has changed the balance of power. In the past, conflict between individuals and large companies often stayed private, but now everything can be shared instantly with millions of people. Through his channel, Mat Armstrong was able to document every part of the rebuild and share his side of the story directly with his audience. This gave him a strong advantage because people could see the process for themselves instead of relying only on official statements. At the same time, companies like Bugatti are also aware of how powerful public opinion can be. When Mat Rimac responded publicly, it showed that even large companies cannot ignore online discussions anymore. The situation quickly became a global topic, with videos, posts, and comments spreading across different platforms. This level of attention can influence how companies act, because their reputation is always at risk. It also means that independent creators now have a voice that can reach just as far as traditional media. However, this power also comes with responsibility. When information is shared with millions of people, accuracy becomes very important. This is why the debate between Mat and Bugatti is not just about a car. It is also about how information is presented and how it affects public understanding. Modern supercars are very different from older vehicles, and this difference is a big part of the current conflict. Cars like the Ferrari 296 GTB and the Bugatti Chiron are not just mechanical machines. They are complex systems that combine hardware and software. This means that fixing them is not only about replacing damaged parts, but also about understanding how different systems communicate with each other. For example, electronic control units, sensors, and software updates all play a major role in how the car functions. If one part is not working correctly, it can affect the entire system. This is why manufacturers often restrict access to certain tools and information. They want to ensure that repairs are done correctly and safely. However, this approach can make it very difficult for independent builders. Without access to official tools or software, even simple issues can become major problems. This creates a situation where ownership does not always mean full control. People may own the physical car, but they still depend on the manufacturer for certain functions. This is one of the main reasons why the right to repair discussion is becoming more important, especially as technology continues to advance. The conflict involving Mat Armstrong is closely connected to a larger global issue known as the right to repair movement. This movement supports the idea that people should have the freedom to fix and modify the products they own without unnecessary restrictions. While this idea has been around for many years, it has become more important as products become more advanced. In the automotive world, this issue is especially serious because cars are becoming more dependent on software and digital systems. Supporters of the movement argue that restricting repairs can increase costs and limit innovation. They believe that independent mechanics and builders should have access to the same tools and information as official service centers. On the other hand, manufacturers argue that these restrictions are necessary to maintain safety, quality, and brand reputation. They also point out that incorrect repairs could lead to serious problems, especially in high-performance vehicles. This creates a difficult balance between freedom and responsibility. The situation with Mat Armstrong has brought this debate into the spotlight, making more people aware of the challenges involved. It has also encouraged discussions about how future regulations might change to address these issues. The situation with Ferrari adds another layer to the overall story. While the Bugatti project focused on physical rebuilding challenges, the Ferrari case highlights the difficulties of dealing with modern electronics and software systems. The Ferrari 296 GTB is a highly advanced car that relies on a combination of a traditional engine and a hybrid system. This makes it even more complex than many other supercars. When issues arise, they often require specialized tools and software to diagnose and fix. In this case, Mat faced a situation where the car could not be fully repaired without help from Ferrari, but Ferrari required the car to be fully restored before providing assistance. This created a situation where progress was almost impossible. It also showed how dependent modern vehicles are on manufacturer support. For many people, this raised concerns about the future of car ownership. If such restrictions become more common, it could change how people interact with their vehicles. It could also limit the ability of independent builders to work on advanced cars, which would have a major impact on the automotive community. As the situation continued to develop, public perception became one of the most important factors. The way people view the conflict can have a significant impact on both individuals and companies. For Mat Armstrong, public support can strengthen his position and allow him to continue his work with confidence. For companies like Bugatti and Ferrari, public opinion can affect their brand image and customer relationships. Media coverage also plays a major role in shaping this perception. Articles, videos, and social media posts all contribute to how the story is understood. In many cases, different sources present the situation in different ways, which can make it difficult to know what is completely accurate. This is why it is important for viewers to think critically and consider multiple perspectives. The situation shows how powerful media can be in influencing opinions and driving conversations. It also highlights the responsibility that comes with sharing information on such a large scale. Looking ahead, the impact of the situation could be significant for the entire automotive industry. As technology continues to advance, the relationship between manufacturers and car owners will likely continue to change. The story involving Mat Armstrong, Bugatti, and Ferrari is just one example of a much larger trend. It shows that traditional ideas about ownership are being challenged by modern technology. In the future, we may see new rules or regulations that aim to balance the needs of both sides. This could include better access to repair information for independent builders, as well as clearer guidelines for how advanced systems should be handled. At the same time, manufacturers may continue to develop new ways to protect their technology and maintain quality control. The outcome of this balance will shape how people experience cars in the years to come. For now, the conversation is still ongoing and many questions remain unanswered beyond the technical challenges and public debate. There's also a human side to this story that many people often overlook. For Mat Armstrong, this is not just about cars or views. It is also about pressure, expectations, and responsibility. When millions of people are watching every move, even small decisions can feel very important. Each video is not only a piece of content, but also a statement that can influence how people see him and his work. As the conflict with companies like Bugatti and Ferrari grows, the pressure increases even more. There is pressure to prove his skills, pressure to stay accurate, and pressure to respond to criticism. At the same time, there is also the risk of making mistakes in such complex projects. Unlike smaller builds, working on hypercars means that even a small error can have serious consequences. This creates a situation where the emotional and mental side of the work becomes just as challenging as the physical repairs. It also reminds viewers that behind the videos is a real person dealing with real challenges. Understanding this side of the story adds more depth to the situation and helps explain why the conflict has become so intense. One of the biggest themes in this entire situation is the balance between industry control and independent innovation. Companies like Bugatti and Ferrari invest huge amounts of time and money into developing their cars. They want to protect their designs, technology, and reputation. From their point of view, controlling repairs and parts is a way to ensure that their vehicles remain safe and perform as expected. On the other hand, independent builders like Mat Armstrong represent a different approach. They focus on creativity, problem-solving, and pushing limits. They show that it is possible to achieve results outside official systems, even when resources are limited. This creates a natural conflict between the two sides. One side values control and consistency, while the other values freedom and innovation. Neither side is completely right or completely wrong. The challenge is finding a balance that allows both to exist without harming each other. This balance is becoming more important as technology continues to evolve and will likely shape the future of many industries, not just automotive. In the end, the story of Mat Armstrong is not just about rebuilding cars. It is about changing how people think. His projects have shown that limits can be questioned and that new possibilities can be explored. At the same time, the responses from companies like Bugatti and Ferrari highlight the challenges of working with advanced technology in a modern world. This situation has started important conversations about ownership, control, and responsibility. It has also shown the power of platforms like YouTube in shaping public opinion and bringing complex issues into the spotlight. As the automotive world continues to evolve, stories like this will likely become more common. The outcome of this conflict may not be clear right now, but its impact is already visible. It has inspired discussions, raised awareness, and encouraged people to think more deeply about the relationship between creators and corporations. Whether this leads to more freedom, stricter control, or balance between the two, one thing is certain. The conversation is far from over, and its effects will be felt for many years to come. While the idea of rebuilding damaged hypercars may look exciting and inspiring on the surface, there are also serious risks involved that are not always fully visible to the audience. Projects like the rebuild of the Bugatti Chiron are not just about skill and determination. They also involve safety, precision, and responsibility. Cars of this level are designed with extremely strict engineering standards, and even small changes can affect how they perform. For example, structural components made from carbon fiber are not easy to repair correctly, and if something is not aligned perfectly, it can impact safety at high speeds. When Mat Armstrong takes on such a project, he is working in an environment without the full support systems that manufacturers have, such as factory testing equipment and engineering teams. This does not mean the work cannot be done, but it does increase the level of risk. Another important factor is that viewers may not always understand the complexity behind what they are watching. Some might assume that rebuilding such cars is easier than it actually is, which could lead to unrealistic expectations. This is why many experts emphasize the importance of proper knowledge and caution. At the same time, Matt's work also shows how far independent builders can go when they combine experience with careful planning. The balance between inspiration and responsibility is very important in projects like these. One of the most important ideas that comes out of this entire situation is the changing meaning of ownership. In the past, buying a car meant having full control over it. People could repair, modify, or even completely rebuild their vehicles without needing permission from the manufacturer. However, with modern cars like the Ferrari 296 GTB, this idea is starting to change. These vehicles rely heavily on software systems, digital controls, and restricted components that are often locked behind manufacturer approval. This means that even if someone owns a physical car, they may not have full access to everything needed to repair it. The experience of Mat Armstrong highlights this issue very clearly. His challenges show that ownership today is not as simple as it used to be. Instead, it is becoming a shared space between the buyer and the manufacturer. This shift raises many important questions. Should owners have complete freedom over their vehicles? Or should manufacturers maintain control to protect safety and quality? There is no simple answer, but the discussion is becoming more important as technology continues to grow. The outcome of this debate will likely influence not only the automotive industry, but also other areas where technology plays a major role.